All right. Listen up, you ingrates. It's time for some more goddamn StarCraft. Well, let's do it. Spawning in the top right position as our pink Terran player, coming in for Millenium, it is going to be Dayshi. And spawning in the bottom left position as the blue Protoss player, coming in for Team MVP in this Acer TeamStory Cup match, it is Billowy. Like the wind, like my jacket, this man blows. In the wind, of course. I don't know. I'm feeling pretty good to be here casting. I'm feeling pretty damn good. Be casting some StarCraft. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it. This is the earliest I've ever been this conscious, but I've completely borked my sleep schedule since I'm going to DreamHack Summer. Today's the last day I'm going to be spending in America. I mean, like, for a couple days, I guess. But, anyway, so nothing's really happening just yet in this game. I'll talk to you guys a bit more about the stuff that's going on. You guys are watching the Acer TeamStory Cup, in case you guys couldn't read the title on the stream. Actually, I have a pretty fast cast for Dayshi. He's going to be going for a fast Reaper, just to let you guys know. Dayshi will be opening with a Reaper. But more importantly, this is going to be a best of 9, of course, between MVP and Millenium. Pretty much, it's an all-kill format, so if Dayshi wins 5 games in a row, then he plays 5 games in a row. That's just how it works. If he doesn't lose, he stays in. And for Billowy, of course, well, if he loses, he's out. They send someone else, and then, you know, when they're on the last player, they can do all sorts of crazy stuff like substitutions or revivals, things of that sort. But, yeah, I've been very busy getting ready for DreamHack Summer, which I'll be flying out for, like I said, tomorrow on the 13th. Here's that Reaper coming in from Dayshi, but, yeah. So, I figured I'd just try to give you guys a bit of energy before we actually get into these matches and whatnot. So, what I'm going to do now is open up easily the most important utility that any caster in the world uses to talk about things, and that is Liquipedia. Of course, if you guys don't already know, since I kind of know this off the top of my head, Acer TeamStory Cup-wise, the first place team is actually MVP. These guys have just been pretty much dominating everyone. Their closest competition, Karante Esports Club, had to resign from the tournament in order to be able to, well, because they didn't have any players, really. They didn't have a full team. There were some issues with them having to sign on new players just to compete in this tournament, so MVP is very comfortably in first place. The sweeper from Dayshi going to come in here, poke away at this probe. And what we're pretty much seeing here out of Billowy is a very fast expand into a Mothership Core. This is a defensive opening that's going to allow him to use the Mothership Core quite liberally as far as defending goes. And what Dayshi's doing, he's poking in with this Reaper. He's getting scouting information. He's making sure nothing really crazy is happening. And there's a Stalker coming out for Billowy. He's not playing the most defensive build. He could go for something like a Sentry. If he wants the Stalker to give him a little bit more map presence, a little bit more power against this Reaper. At the same time, Dayshi expanded behind this. He got a very fast engineering bay. This is pretty much entirely to allow the Terran player to get a very fast +1 attack, which allows you to move into the double upgrades faster, of course. But it's also a very good defense against something like fast oracles. You can just kind of blindly build this. If you scout oracles with your Reaper, okay, take advantage of it. Throw around, you know, throw around the missile turret and do what you do. But he's already got another probe, and Dayshi going ham with this Reaper. Unfortunately, he dies a horrible, painful death right by the mineral lines. His corpse will be there in the future sequels when they go to mine. They'll be like, oh my god, there's just a corpse here. And then they'll realize that there's Protoss units close by. I mean, they probably would notice the probes first, to be honest with you. But Robotics Facility, coming up for Billowy. He's not doing anything weird at all. And I feel like that's a smart move, considering how fragile his existence is. Since, alright, I'm going to try not to make any Billowy jokes. I'm not 100% sure of the grammatical strength of our viewers. So we're gonna have Stim on the way. Billowy goes for this pretty quick, Dayshi goes for this pretty smooth transition into bio from the Reaper opening, which is fine. What I'm more curious about is the kind of follow-up that we're gonna see out of Billowy. Now Dayshi's looking like he wants to move out onto the field. He's got some Marines ready, rock and roll. And one of the things that you can do with Marines like this is if your opponent opens up with a fast Mothership Core, you can go try to bait some of the energy out of it, prevent it from having a double Photon Overcharge available when you go for your 10-minute timing. Opens up drop opportunities. And these Marines, well, they're not going to get spotted. Billowy sends an observer out, but that is not going to see this Marine force. And right now, all we have at home for Billowy is going to be that that Mothership Core with a single sentry. The sentry does not have enough force fields to stop these Marines from, well, running up and picking off the Mothership Core, but it does have enough force fields to stop him from going up the ramp. And if he moves in too close, we could actually have that little area force fielded off. He's going to lose one Marine, realizing, okay, can't really do too much here. And, yeah. +1 attack is actually done for Dayshi, which is one of the coolest things about this style of playing. He's going to get his factory together, getting the additional gas, and what Dayshi wants to do is move into the standard Marine Medevac Marauder play. Pokes in again. Stalker does pick up another Marine or two. He's continuing to put this pressure on here, and Dayshi's losing a lot. The observer here for Billowy can spot pretty much everything that is moving around. He's not really that worried about what his opponent has, and now with these Stalkers, he can try to micro. One of them is very close to dying, but Dayshi's keeping on some seriously constant aggression. The problem is, even if he tries to bum rush in with Stim, there's now 2 force fields available on that sentry. And the Mothership Core, well, it can Photon Overcharge again. What is important, though, is that if we have a decision here from Billowy to go for the, or Dayshi to go for the very fast medevac drops, he's going to be in a pretty sweet position just because of, well, there's only one Photon Overcharge, so he can run in, bait out the Photon Overcharge on the natural Nexus, and then dive into the main with drops. And the Marines are here. He does have Stim. Photon Overcharge has not been activated just yet. Billy wants to wait until the last possible moment. He's going to warp in some Zealots. He wants to make Dayshi commit, and he's saying, I have force fields. If you don't Stim, I'm not going to use the Photon Overcharge, and that is a very, very big commitment. But now he's going to Stim. He's going to run in. Photon Overcharge is activated. One Stalker does go down. The Sentry's going to botch these Marines in. He picks off a Warp Prism and the Mothership Core as they come out. Takes out the Sentry and a Zealot. There's only 2 Zealots and a Stalker here. 3 Stalkers being warped inside the main base. If you can pick these off, these would actually be really, really big. He's got some units being rallied outside the natural base. And these Marines really chewing away at these Stalkers. He actually done a ton of damage here with this Marine poke. He's really thinned out the unit count for Billowy. Currently, he's only got a Stalker. He's going to warp in 2 Templar, a Sentry, and a Zealot. He's gone for this fast Templar transition with the charge. He's actually going for the fast +2 armor. And what Billowy is doing is setting himself up for very large aggression on 2 bases. In fact, if you look at the total number of gateways, he's put himself up to 7. And this is a very, very powerful setup to have. It's not completely all in. He doesn't need to go for something like a big +2 Zealot charge timing or all in of anything of that sort. He's got a lot of options, but Dayshi realizing there's no Mothership Core, he's going to come in. There is an Archon, though, for Billowy, and these Marines and Marauders will have to be picked up and ran home, but no, he's going to dive straight into the main base, and he's just going to try to abuse that high ground positioning on Billowy's units. Dayshi microing his heart out. If he can pick off a Sentry, that'd be huge, but unfortunately, no. There's so much tankiness here for our Protoss player. He's got a lot of charge lots. We already see Dayshi moving into that Hellbat production back in his main base. He's going for the 3rd command center. Fast +2 attack is actually going to be really nice for dealing with this this upgrade setup. And the observer sees that he's going to try to swing around back towards the main base, though. Is Dayshi going to be able to do any damage? It's a big question. More Zealots being warped in. That charge upgrade is done. They can get right on top of these Marines. One of them is going to fall, and the Zealots are just pouring in. Dayshi lifts up. He's going to boost on out of there. Now, keep in mind, we do have this probe for Billowy moving around. He could try to go for some sort of counter warp in, some sort of crazy shenanigans. And Dayshi, well, he's just building up these Hellbats, and these are actually going to be so useful. You know, he's going for constant aggression. He has had a parade line running down the map the entire game, and I like this style from Dayshi. He is not relenting on the aggression. Now, his supply is very close to Billowy's, but Billowy doesn't have Storm just yet. He has the feedbacks, though, and this is where the medevacs being used quite a bit becomes more and more important because he can keep their energy low for the feedbacks. But now he's coming in. There's 2 Templar. Storm is about to finish in 5 seconds. Will he be able to do the damage he needs to before then? A lot of the Zealots are going down. The Storm is placed behind the army. Dayshi is not running away, though, and he is able to actually soak up a lot of the damage on that Storm without really taking too much onto his army. Of course, the Zealots charging forward now, literally and figuratively, with the Archon support. And Dayshi's just going to retreat. He does have the 3rd command center complete now. There's no 3rd Nexus on the way just yet for Billowy. Pylon's going to get placed to block a command center from floating over, but Dayshi will be able to take that out. Not big deal. And he's going to take that 3rd base. There's nothing unusual here from our Protoss player. He's just kind of chilling. And I feel like Dayshi, he's actually really worried about a counterattack. He's going to build a couple of bunkers. He's gone to the Build a Bunker workshop. Interestingly, we of course see Dayshi. He's got only +1 armory. No second engineering bay really on the field at all. And this is a very aggressive style. It's going to give him super fast attack upgrades. He's actually going for the vehicle plating, which is going to be nice for the Hellbats, but Dayshi sends the scouting marine. He sees the third base, and now he knows, oh, these bunkers, I don't really need these. He could salvage these if he really wants to. This probe sees this base, though. There is that pylon, Billowy, there, and he's going to actually send these marines out to look for another pylon, and he's going to immediately find that Billowy does have another pylon on the left side. These double medevacs being run around. Actually, he lost some of those marines there in that drop. This pylon is going to die, though. He's actually immediately going to check all the other locations, and I love this play from Dayshi, making sure that he can spot all of the possible harassment pylons. And at the same time, he's actually going to get on a bunch of additional warp gates. This could be a very big charge lot Archon style off of 3 bases with storms mixed in, and we're already seeing the ghosts come out, though, for Dayshi. This is so important for a Terran player. He really wants to be able to just throw down the EMPs, get the snipes off. Most important are going to be the EMPs. Zealots are very small. They clump up really well, and it actually makes EMP do a lot of damage to them. That's 50 damage per Zealot, so if he hits 10 of them, that's 500 damage in shields. That's just instantly done, so... one storm is going to be dropped preemptively. Oh, gets a nice snipe off on those Templar, and we see a lot of these Zealots actually are shieldless, so... There's a good opportunity here for Dayshi to get into a nice big fight. He's going to run a couple Marines forward. Now the question is how many Templar are available with Storms. There's 2 Templar almost with Storms ready on the high ground. Ghost gets feedback. A couple Templar come in from the natural, though. Get some great Storms in here. And, well, the Storms at the third base are prepared. There's a single Psionic Storm left for Billowy. It's going to drop. The Marines actually run right through it. And he's taking so much damage, but the Hellbats are doing a great job at working away at these Zealots, or at least tanking for them, but now the Hellbats are all dead. The Archons are really letting their DPS go. He's going to have to lift up and boost away. He's trying to slowly but surely retreat. He does have that parade line rallying down the map. There are a lot of Storms available now that we have 1 Templar with 2 Storms. Actually, 2 Templar with 2 Storms. A third one is here. Not enough energy for a Storm just yet, and more Zealots are being warped in. Now keep in mind, Dayshi's +3 attack is going to finish up soon. We already have... Actually, we didn't even see +2 armor from Billowy, so he's going to be in a really nice position once this +3 attack finishes. He's only 10 seconds away, but in the meantime, a big Zealot run by at that third base. Going to go ham on these SCVs and mules charging away. And Dayshi, though, he's +3 attack now complete. He's going to have a lot of firepower to use against these units. The Zealot's not going to be quite as strong, but, you know, that third base being denied is really, really important. The mineral income from the main base is running dry. The natural expansion is actually missing a couple of mineral patches before the main just because of how hard he kneeled it earlier, so Dayshi's got to be careful. You know, the economic harass from Billowy can end up hurting him quite a bit. You know, this is only game 1 here of our Acer TeamStory Cup match between Millenium and MVP, but it's gonna be pretty crazy. I feel like this game is really close right now. If you look at the composition setups, there's no Vikings on the field, and we all have the first Colossus already on the battlefield. The second one is about to join it. And I feel this is the situation where the Protoss player feels the most comfortable as they're jumping into Colossi tech. Once they get both set up, it's so easy to deal with a lot of Terran compositions. We actually see Dayshi supply blocked quite a bit. No depots in production. He sees the first Colossus. The Templar coming in, throwing the Storms on the Ghost. A couple of those Templar are going to be sniped, but there's still a lot of Storms left. Templar are going to flank from the east side. Drop the Storms, not much there. These EMPs, though, really doing quite a bit here for Dayshi. The Colossi, do they have that range upgrade? Yes, but there might be too much bio here. No, Dayshi's just going to run in and snipe off the natural Nexus, going balls deep here on this Protoss base, and he's actually going to be able to take out a lot of these units. The Hellbats, though, are doing what the best that they can against these Zealots, and he's going to move the rest of these units. There's no support here for the Colossus. The first one falls. A Great Storm going to eat a lot of this bio. Dayshi's taking so much damage. He's going to load up and run away. Now the worker count's about 44 SCVs to 46 probes. At third base, though, he loses the command center to the Zealots, and this is a very rough spot to be in for a Millennium Terran player because he's basically run out of minerals at the natural in the 30s. He's actually just gonna, he's out of minerals at the main base in the natural. He's just gonna run everything over. He's gonna float the command center over from the natural. The problem is Billowy has that much more fresh third base. He still has been able to mine that quite well. He's gonna drop on top of these Zealots, trying to get rid of these. There's not a good point of reinforcement. There's actually no pylons on the left side of the map, but Billowy saying, you know what, man, come at me. I've got 2 Colossi. I feel like with no storms, this is a bit ballsy of a play because Dayshi does have that +3 attack. He's +2 armor, is about to complete. And we're actually going to see a Terran player ahead of a Protoss player in upgrades for the first time since the wheel was invented. But now Dayshi does have 4 Vikings, and this is where things start to turn in his favor a little bit. There are 3 Colossi on the field. The third one has just popped out. Now, what's most important is with the few Templar that he does have, these storms do money damage. He just warped in a bunch more, but they can't storm just yet. The more time that Dayshi gives Billowy, the better that this game scenario is going to become for him, because he's just going to have all of the energy for the storms. And now he comes in, he tries to throw up some snipes on the Templar. Does grab one of the high ground Templar, not bad. Preemptive Storm is going to be throwing a lot of these Marines in the red. He's going to need to let the Medivacs fill these up, get some solid EMPs though on the Protoss army. He's actually going to take away the shields from all the Zealots, a lot of the Colossi shields, but there's still storms on the high ground here. He comes, Billowy throwing these down. Dayshi's barely ahead in supply, but he's dropping so quickly. Are the Vikings going to be able to do the damage necessary? These Colossi are running so low on hit points, but the problem is there's only a single Viking, and the Stalker takes that out. I'm not sure that these Marines and Marauders can actually fight through this. If he can snipe that Colossus off, he's going to be a great spot. The Marauders are coming in. He's going to try to pick it off. Ooh, gets that last hit off, and now it's just Marines and Marauders versus Probes. GG, and Billowy taps out game number 1. And this Acer TeamStory Cup Best of 9 is going to go to Millenium's Dayshi. So incredibly kinky and awesome play there from our Millennium Terran player, of course, showing off a little bit of good micro, good army composition control. He was able to get the snipes. What we just witnessed was a Terran versus Protoss as clean as can be. Dayshi played in hyper-aggressive style, and I don't really have too much else to add. It was a very straightforward TVP. Billowy, he did a good amount of harass, but the problem was also the upgrades that came into hand. You know, Terran player, you cannot afford to ever let them be ahead of you on attack upgrades versus armor. It's simply unacceptable, and that really just, I'll be honest, a lot of those fights were one-sided because he did way more damage than he should have. So that is going to be game number 1, guys. Let me update the score before we move into game number 2. Millennium up 1. Okay, so of course our Korean team is going to be down a game. So we're going to see who comes in next for team MVP for the Acer TeamStory Cup, guys. Do not go anywhere. I'm your English caster for today, Nathanias. And yeah, we'll get there as soon as we can. I literally cannot magically make it appear. So